Hey, what's up? I'm back with another video. I've been away for a little bit. I had to repair my PC. Initially, I took it to Best Buy. They did a diagnostic. They said I need a new motherboard, whatever. They was gonna try to charge me some extra. I said, you know what? I just initially I bought a motherboard. It was selling for like it had for like 170 in the store. So I said, you know what? I just said I'll put this all stuff install it myself. What I wound up doing, I brung back the motherboard and stuff, right? And just got my money back, and then I just purchased a cheaper motherboard, right? So that's why I haven't really been making the content. So I recently, like I said, repaired my PC all on my own. Took everything out, watched the fans, everything, hooked the cords up, all of that. So now, so like in future builds, I'm just doing myself. Don't have to go with the hassle. I know what works, what doesn't work now, so I'm good. So now I want to talk about this. There's reports from this cosmic news, whatever. It's not even a reputable site, a reliable site. So we just want to say that. And so it's talking about, oh, James, once the sale goes through, James Gunn is out. And I looked at the X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, what they were saying. I'm like saying, okay, so to me, nothing more than a grifter site. I don't care how many followers you have. Only ones I take serious when it comes from actual reputable people that's saying some things, or from the trades. Look at this though. The trades have not even been on this or following this though, right? You didn't see no reports from the trades saying this was going to happen. The guns are going to be out. So hey, I listen to the trades because they have way more legit sources of people in the know that's get scoops from these companies, whatever. And you see some YouTubers talk about their source. What? You made it up. Basically, that's your source. I made it up, right? Just to get clicks and views. No, we ain't doing that. So if it's not for somebody reputable that's vetted, I don't care what they have to say. And let's look at it. Let's look at it honestly. Let's look at it. Okay, smart, right? So you mean to tell me that the DCU has been in a stinker, right? You know, ever since, regardless what the Snack Snyder, it might have started off good, whatever, but you see all the crap movies that's coming from DC, and fans was not showing up to the movie theaters, right? Just look at that. So now James Gunn come in and boom, right? People enjoy Peacemaker, and I agree. I admit maybe the finale of Peacemaker wasn't knocked the world on fire, whatever. Okay, I could give you that. But what James Gunn, what he has done since he came over here, for me, my opinion, had put out quality stuff, right? So when we look at it, let's go back to we look at the shape that DC was in, and we see how the fans came back to DCU with James Gunn. If we just look at the Superman movie, what they did. Now, as far as they talk about Superman didn't make no profit, okay, because he's looking at the box office, but Variety said that Superman made up to a net profit of 125 million. So you know what? I'm gonna listen to the trades what they had to say, because they was breaking it down. They was talking about other stuff, right? And you're seeing like Superman's doing big business for us. Like just look at the branded deals. That's so when you invest, they talk about it didn't break even. If you look at really the rule is this: production budget times 2.5, not production budget plus marketing times 2.5. No, it's production budget times 2.5. That's usually the formula they go by. And let's say that's like 563. Superman did well over 600 million. So when you look at it, and also we're not accounting for what take was Superman actually take. Usually it's like a 50%, but maybe Superman took home a larger take than that in the early weeks. Who knows, right? They don't know. The Forbes that was reported, and also are discounting with the merchandise at the theaters, like the popcorn buckets. You know, Superman they make money off of that though, the popcorn buckets, because that's anything associated with their brand, they making money off of, like the branded deals, like the Dairy Queens, all that other stuff. So like as far as what they spent in the market, like 125 million, they've been made that back and then some. And now we're gonna look In a month that it went digital, that's part of the box office. The digital, that's all part of the box office. The movie, you know, it went to digital, right? And then you probably the DVDs, the Blu-ray sales, and then also what the subscribers was bringing into HBO Max, all of that. So, but when you look at it, Superman did big business for DC. I just want to put that out there. And it also for it was the fourth streaming movie on it actually charted on Nielsen, the fourth. So that's good. But now back to this, that James Gunn's gonna get fired, let go. No, right? So you mean to tell me you gonna do something all over again? You got the fans that come. Remember, the fans was not coming to see DCU stuff outside of Batman, which is Elseworlds, right? The fans was not coming to check out DC. So no way they're gonna do that. Just blow everything up and start all over. They're not gonna do that because they're gonna lose the fans. No. So only way James Gunn's not there, unless James Gunn does not want to be there, and you're not gonna just throw him out the door, get rid of him like that. Cause let's just look at, you see what happened when Marvel did. You see all, So cause remember, James Gunn was supposed to be Feige's right hand man, but they let him go, whatever. So that was a mistake Disney made. But I don't think if anybody that's smart, and also I want to point out, Walter Hamada is over there at Paramount, who hired James Gunn. So he's not going to let an asset like that try to walk away. He's going to work with that, with the Luke Abbey and the Luca. Those guys will be doing the regular Warner Brothers movies, whatever. So far as the DC stuff, I believe they're going to let it stay as is. We still got James Gunn overseeing that and whatever. And you got Sarah Fan. You got also Matt Reeves doing the Batman Elseworld related stuff, right? So they're not just going to fire James. For one, he brought DCU back up. Like Superman, say whether you liked it or not, Superman grossed over $600 million. Right? Over $600 million it grossed. You remember, there's a lot of pressure on DC, right? For this first DCU with all the baggage they had, right? They backs against the wall. This Superman came out, did over $600 million, over $300 million domestic, right? Over $350 million domestic. Now the international numbers wasn't really great. We agree that it wasn't, right? It wasn't really great, but then again, that's not Superman is not going to be like the super great overseas like that. I don't think it ever was. Even what was it? Even like the whatchamacallit probably didn't. The Man of Steel put the world on fire. So maybe it was like $100 million better overseas than Superman. But yeah, Superman's not that type of character where it's going to probably do super great overseas. It's not. So I look at that. You know what? Like overseas, or probably go and do that horror. They damn sure like the anime. You see what the anime is doing? So yeah. So that's not the issue. But if you could say that DC would be in a better spot, the DCU would be in a better spot without James Gunn, I'd say you're crazy. Because talented James Gunn, who's better as a screenwriter and director, and his quality of work. So he's the right man for the job as well. So I don't think they just gonna when Paramount buys Warner, they're not gonna just fire him and throw him out the door. They're not gonna do that because you need talent over there. You want the DC to shine. It's already in a good spot right now, right? You have other guys and also working. So you got the Lantern show. You have the Supergirl movie that's coming out next year. You got the Clayface horror coming out with a budget. You got other stuff in the works. You got the Superman Man of Tomorrow. That's in the works for 27. And you got the Batman Part 2. So I don't see James Gunn anyway. He's doing some world building. I think they're gonna see what happens and see what happens, right? And see if it's profitable, if it's good for them, all that before they just scrap. So they're just not gonna, as soon as they buy it, we just immediately gonna fire James Gunn because it's not like James Gunn been doing a bad job, right? He's not. The first time in years, right? Years that DC beat out Marvel at the box office. Superhero movies. The first time. in a long time, right? DC did that, you know, under the tutelage of James Gunn. Remember, DC only put one movie out. DC put one movie out in 26. Marvel had three movies, and not and neither three of those movies could come out and top Superman. Matter of fact, the Fantastic Four came 2 weeks after. I know everyone says it's going to take the legs of Superman. Superman wound up having better legs than Fantastic Four. So yeah, so no, so they're gonna let James Gunn cook, you know, until he shows you that he's not the man for the job. He's still gonna be there at DC, making magic happen and stuff. So I don't see they go ahead and do this. They're not gonna get rid of James Gunn, right? You know, because he's like really good at what he's doing, and he hasn't made any major mistakes there at the company at DC, right? Where his movies been flopping over at DC. He only had one live movie. The TV show has had good ratings on Peacemaker, and he did that animation Creature Commando. So, what would be the point of just like firing James Gunn and just blowing it all up and start all over again? After you had the fans that come bring the fans back, it wouldn't make no sense. It wouldn't make good business sense to do something like that. And talking about having, I'm hearing like, they say, well, what was it like, Pam, like Abney's gonna, DeLuca's gonna take over the DC. He's not gonna take over the DC. Listen, those two, Abney and DeLuca, resurrected their careers with, remember they started having some flops, but then they turned it around. So no, they're gonna let them do what they're doing best. So that's the thing. So, you know, you got them over there doing the Warner Brother movie stuff, right? You have James Gunn doing the DCU, DC Comics related stuff like that, shows, whatever. That's working so far, right? Just look at the banner year Warner Brothers had, especially DC, what they was doing. DC, Warner Brothers, everyone was cooking. Did regular TV shows like The Pit, Oscar, right? Or Oscar or Emmy, whatever, right? So they're gonna let the guys, the Ellisons, they come and buy this. They're gonna let them cook and do what they do, and you know, just let it roll and let's see where it goes from there. They not saying come, oh, we just bought this, so we're gonna get rid of James Gunn and start it all over. I know the fans came back. He got the fans to come back, but you gonna elevate the fans like far as the DC stuff. It took a while for the fans to come back and really support these DCU movies. So they're not gonna just fire James Gunn as soon as he buy it, all that work they did to get the fans to come back. No, that'd be stupid. Because then now the fans ain't gonna go for another reboot like this, right? It just started, right? You just had, so that's why it doesn't make sense where James comes out. I know people are running with this narrative, but you trusting Cosmic News? Nah, I'm not trusting them. Like these guys hasn't been on. I don't know how many. Like they bad averages is like probably under 100. You know, so yeah, we ain't looking at them. We're not gonna take what they say serious. So, but yeah, I don't believe James Gunn is going anywhere. The smart bet would be that they're gonna let this thing play out and see what happens, and see if they have to make a shift. Which you just did the first movie, and you got Lanterns coming out, right? So stuff is already in motion. So that'll be stupid to do something like that. And like you said, they already have Walter Hamada over there, who I believe who hired James Gunn. So I think they're going to let this all play out. I don't think James Gunn is going anywhere right now. Now let's say if movies start doing really bad right next year, and in 27 those stuff flop, because like those stuff's going it's going to happen. Like The Man of Tomorrow, that's already greenlit already. And stuff. So and also doing a Wonder Woman and working on Brave and the Bold. So they gonna let this all stuff play out and see what happens, to see what James Gunn has cooking and whatever. That's what I believe is gonna happen. I don't believe James Gunn's gonna be let go. And, you know, see ya. Nah, they're not gonna do that. That's not smart business. Because you just bought this company. You want the value to keep going and stuff. So yeah, so I don't believe that's gonna happen. And so a lot of people want James Gunn to be fired and run with some stuff. You got these Snyder bros all out here in other forms of media, whatever, like being some janky website like Cosmic News, whatever. You know, and we'll see. But my bet, the smart bet is that James Gunn's gonna be there, and they're gonna let it play out. That's what I would say. It makes more sense to do that. And so it, it's a grifter. Every you see a lot of grifters coming around doing this and that. First, it was talking about so-called plot leaks, whatever. But all those plot leaks, it didn't stop it from Superman doing what he did. Right, over 600 million gross. Right, for a first film in a new DCU where people had reservations about, didn't know. So yeah, so James Gunn did that, right? It wasn't. Remember, he wasn't with the MCU, right? Which that the juggernaut of the so-called juggernaut of the MCU. He didn't have a whole lot of super big names in that movie, and it still grossed over 600 million. That so James Gunn put his whole career, not whole career, but he put his like, okay, this is all it's on me. What I'm doing with this movie right here, and he went and did that. His first project, he said, "What I want to get the Superman right," and I believe he did. And it got greenlit for a sequel quick. So regardless what happens with um what you call it, Paramount, they're not gonna fire James Gunn right now. If things go south and if you're not being, they have to in any business you have to reevaluate something's not going right. But for right now, if Superman deal with 600 million, I believe the next movie is gonna do as well. I can see the next movie possibly get into that Man of Tomorrow, possibly get into that 700 million. Remember, it did 615, so yeah. So now there's a different story to be told. So James Gunn's gonna be there for a while. Only way James Gunn's not there unless he decides to leave on his own accord, right? And I don't believe he wants to necessarily want to leave because he likes being a creator though, right? All that stuff. So I don't think he's going anywhere unless he wants to. But outside of that, we gotta stop running with these so-called grifters and say, "Oh, my source told me." The source, really, the translation means I made it up, whatever. And so, people gotta stop your sources. A lot of these people that saying these sources, they're not even vetted like that. That's the crazy part. It's they're not really vetted like that. So we gotta stop putting trust in people that's not even vetted or reputable like that. That hasn't don't really know you like that. You got a little website and followers. You know, people buy followers all the time. That don't mean nothing, right? So yeah, so no, so common sense tell you that James Gunn's gonna be there. He's a guy for the job, and they're gonna let us see how everything plays out before they just you're out of here and stuff like that. So no, it's not gonna happen, right? So I look forward, to next year. We had the land of the Supergirl and Clayface. In 27, you have the Man of Tomorrow, but it also in 26 there'll be some other really good stuff too. Like I'm interested in the Masters of the Universe. I'm not a super big Marvel guy. One thing I did like, really like about Marvel, at least from the comics, was the X-Men related stuff. Like the X-Men, I'm always enjoyed like the X-Men. So I'll probably looking forward to the X-Men movie though when it does come out. You got the Wolverine game coming out next year in the fall. So yeah, so people need to relax. So I don't believe James Gunn's gonna get fired. Not right away anyway. I don't believe that's gonna happen though, right? Because he had success with Superman, and regardless of people want to tell you, because they're not adding up all the other stuff, Superman was profitable for DC. I don't. You say box office or no box office? The product of Superman was profitable for Warner Brothers. End of the story. Period. So you go if you go and add those stuff. So you talking about they want to marketing. They've been made that money back for the marketing, like the popcorn buckets. You added all these deals, the Funko toys, the other Topic Farlene stuff, right? The licensed products they all had these companies using and stuff, the Dairy Queen stuff, all this stuff they was using. Like, come on, are you serious? Like, it made, and plus with the streaming and DB, like the Blu-rays and all that stuff, the HBO subscriptions they was getting for that. So like, yeah, Superman was profitable. So like, it's a little like all this hearsay though. Like, Forbes, like if you want to say what is net profit, you gotta remember streaming like the digital pay VODs digital, that's a part of the box office. Like Blu-rays, that's a part of the box office. All that stuff. So we look and say what Superman, how powerful Superman was, it was like what the Variety was saying, like up to in the range of like 125 million net profit. So people like, are we forgetting what that piece of Variety did? An actual trade reputable. I'm not saying Forbes not reputable, but this guy was just mainly talking about box office. They were talking. They even Variety said it had a net profit of 125. They mentioned other movies that did net profit as well was doing good. So like we need to stop like we forgot what the Variety reported, actual trade and stuff. So I know this guy from Forbes and stuff, but they deal with that stuff as well too. So like, who we gonna believe, Variety or Forbes? So like, are we saying Variety was lying about that net profit? I don't know. You know, if they was lying, I don't think they just make up a number like that, or saying like, or a projection or estimate. But I do know that Superman was profitable, and I don't believe James Gunn's getting fired once the sale goes through, because we didn't have no clear evidence that he is going to get fired. So, and especially coming from a site that's not really reputable or whatever or reliable. So, and why, if this is the case, wouldn't all the other trades be on top of this story as well, saying, yeah, my source saying James Gunn's supposed to be out, but all we hearing is from this site of people that you can't really trust. So let's be smart and not fall for the okie doke. You know, come on, don't get caught slipping out here. Because these guys trying to get views and clicks, they'll say, hey, yeah, my source. These guys don't got no sources. These guys are not insiders. Like even the insider, like who's this? Jeff Snyder, or whatever. Even he said, James, like even he had been like James. He said he says, I don't believe James is gonna be out of there when the sale goes through. So you talk about a guy that already like James Gunn. They go back and forth. So yeah. So I don't think they're getting rid of James Gunn anyway. And he might have like at least 1 year left on his deal anyway. But I don't think they're getting rid of him, because what would be the reason to get rid of him though, right? He's been successful. Had a successful show in Peacemaker, the first and second season. The Superman movie was a successful Superman movie. Brought the fans back. So usually you get rid of someone that's deemed incompetent or has some big time scandal. He hasn't had no big time scandal over taking the reins of DC. He hasn't. So what reason would it be to get rid of him though, right? Explain it to me. I mean, I don't see no reason to really get rid of him. If you just don't like James Gunn, just say that, in your article. I don't like James Gunn, but my sources say he's gonna be out. Yeah, just say you just don't like James Gunn, really, and keep it 100. Like that's really comes to, they just don't like how James Gunn does things. With this is James Gunn movie. Same thing. It's when you look at Marvel, you see a Kevin Feige film. Who cares what he put, whatever. Long as the film is successful and he makes a good product, right? You look at the Rotten Tomato critic score, whether you like it or not, but look at the audience score. Was pretty damn good. And so it had a cinema score of an A-, right? And so, come on now, the fans spoke, right? You talk about what? Over like gross over 600 million, where DC was like in a dumpster, and as far as DCU related stuff, right, connected stuff, and so yeah, it still did all of that with all this negativity against it though from the previous regime, basically of the DCEU, and look at all the weight it had. It like it had to walk through all this garbage and stuff. No one not coming to the fence, but they came back for Superman though. They came back and supported James Gunn's Superman. That's all we could say. That whether you like the movie or not, the fans did come back, support this movie. So opposed to like before James Gunn got over there, like they wasn't doing that. So it's clearly you're seeing a shift of DC's fans coming back, and you mean to tell me they're gonna just blow that all up and start all over again? Nah, I don't think so. Because I don't think these guys are like incompetent too. Because they got guys like Walter Amato over there. They're not gonna do that because they know People wasn't coming to the theaters like, like 5 years ago. They wasn't coming to the theaters like that to support DC stuff, right? They wasn't. Even though you know it's COVID, but even like look at the films of these other films that where they show up. Like Flash might have been a good movie, maybe, but the fans stopped coming to support DC movies though. Outside of Batman, which Batman wasn't connected to a universe though. The connected DC universe movies, they wasn't coming to support. This is the first time in a long time they came back and supported a DC connected movie, basically. As what was in a shared universe. And and at a tune over 600 million and a domestic score over 350 million plus. So I'm gonna say this: they're gonna so it'll be stupid to get rid of James Gunn for the work he's put in, bringing the DCU fans back to the theaters. And look at this: I don't even like really going to the movies, but even I went to the movie to go and support and watch Superman. Me, and I bought it on digital. So yeah, right. So they need So yeah. So James Gunn being let go as soon as the sales go through. No, right. Once they okay, we they buy. Then it usually takes long for everything to get put into motion. But they're not gonna get rid of the talent like that. People that actually know what they're doing in this company, they're not just gonna get rid of them unless things not working out. And they're not gonna just restart the universe when they just started. You're going backwards and stuff. So even you would try to get rid of James Gunn, but like that movie's happening, Supergirl movies, right? Everything he's got, so they're not. I don't believe he's going to do that. Though. It's not good business to do something like that and whatnot. And I'm not a James Gunn stan, but I am a DC stan, Superman stan. That I am. But regardless, but I don't think it doesn't make sense to do something like that. And now people, Snyder Bros will want that to have. They think, oh, James Gunn's going. They think the Snyderverse is going to come back. They're going to have Zack Snyder come back and do. No, that's not happening. Now, I'm not saying he can't do an Elseworld project, maybe. But then again, it won't be Batman because you already got an Elseworld Batman with Matt Reeves, so that's not going to happen. So I would love to see maybe if Zack Snyder could possibly do something with, it was like a TV show or whatever with the Authority or something like that. I wouldn't mind that. Something that's more that he could probably direct, or maybe directing like a Lobo movie or something. Because you have a Lobo comic book, so you have Lobo. That's obviously gonna be the Supergirl, right? And so yeah, so he'll be good with a director with sci-fi, but he's just not good with the writing. So like, if you get like a good script and have him direct, like that. But yeah, but like also, I don't know how these guys gonna be, but like, as far as budget and stuff, I mean, I would probably get these budgets more in check though, so you could maximize more of the profit though. But yeah, I think DC's in a good spot, and I don't think James Gunn will go anywhere. They got Matt Reeves over there. They got James Gunn, Safran doing. They got other creators that's doing stuff like the lady that did Supergirl, the script Anna. And they got these other directors and stuff. Well, soon we talking about eventually a Batman movie and a Wonder Woman movie and stuff. So probably TV shows like a Booster Gold. I'm not sure what's going on with Waller. But yeah, but I think the Lanterns show is going to be really good when it comes out next year. And I think Supergirl is going to surprise a lot of people. So that's all I really got for right now. But I just want to talk about how people just run with rumors as it's actual facts and stuff. Like, if you're not hearing enough from the trades, I wouldn't like put too much stock into it though, especially for someone who's not really credible. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. But let me know what y'all think, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back doing more videos too. Like I said, my PC was down. I had to repair it myself. So we now up and running, and more content is gonna follow. So let me know, man. I'm out of here. I'll be good.